Oh, hello, and welcome. I'm Zabraxi. I was told there could be dinosaurs out here, so I'm trying to find them. They could be anywhere, but I haven't caught any yet. I haven't seen anything, but... hold on. Turok Dinosaur Hunter. Who would have thought that one of the most well-regarded games from the Nintendo 64 would be a Doom-style shooter focused on killing dinosaurs and, aliens? And mechs? Okay, I mean, I guess I have to give it credit here. The premise is definitely rather ear-perking, to say the least.
Gulp.
Iguana Entertainment, huh? This is a studio that's definitely been around the block. Formed all the way back in 1991, they got themselves right into making console ports of plenty of titles. It was mostly sports games. Ugh, who cares? Including the console ports of NBA Jam. Oh, I cares! One of their earlier titles, Aero the Acrobat, saw substantial enough success that it launched the company into swing pretty soon with some excellent financial relief from the release of whatever this game is. I've honestly never heard of this before, but that character, it looks a bit familiar. I don't know why though. Where do I know you from? Huh. Oh, wasn't this the bad guy, the Sunsoft mascot for a while? Yeah, he's even the front face of the first Sunsoft collection release for the Evercade. I always thought this kind of gross-ass looking thing was just an original mascot for Sunsoft itself, not some actual video game character. Why not something cooler though, like from Fantasy Zone, or I don't know, Blaster Master, or Journey to Silius, or something like that? Oh, you thought this was gonna be an episode about hunting dinosaurs? Yeah. Me too. Something kind of funny about Iguana Entertainment is that they were originally located in San Francisco. Whew, San Francisco. That's a good one. What? No, that's not the funny part. Oh. Whoops. Eventually, Iguana realized they were going to need to relocate once the cost of living in the Bay Area had just become so high. Once you find out that your turkey sandwich is $28 and the mayonnaise is an extra $5, then yeah. Suddenly, Austin, Texas looks a lot better. So everyone in the studio agreed to pack their things, sell their homes, leave their apartments, and lift their life to move halfway across the country in an effort to chase their dreams. Well, except one guy. Somehow, just one guy decided nah and stayed in California while everyone left him. Man, talk about being that guy. That was the funny part. No, it wasn't. In 1995, the real magic started to happen. Acclaim Entertainment, most acclaimed for being frickin' Acclaim. This was one of the biggest publishers in the 90s, and they constantly cranked out some great stuff. There's some terrible games in that list too. Sure, like, those are definitely there. But they are responsible for so many amazing titles from this era. Iguana being acquired by them was only a good thing, as the recognition and funding opened loads of new opportunities. And it wouldn't take long for that first major chance to come. Within a few months or so of the Nintendo 64 launch, Iguana would take their shot with something that would change the course of their company forever.
You thought they were extinct. They're back. Mutated and far more dangerous. Now they want the Earth back. Only one man with mammoth firepower and a taste for big game can make dinosaurs extinct again. Turok Dinosaur Hunter.
Turok is one of those games that is a complete product of its time, but I say that as a term of endearment rather than a slight against it. So much about it just screams 90s game, but it's not from that typical skater punk attitude or from slang of the time. Instead, what we get is a game design philosophy and a set of mechanics that exemplify so much of this early 3D era. While much of this time frame is often mocked for its rough visuals and odd design choices, others came out swinging with fun and clever ideas that either hadn't been explored before or just needed another shot. Like, how about we take Wolfenstein and make it into a 3D platformer collectathon? That sounds awesome! Actually, let's just jump into this thing before I get too deep into rambling about all the aspects of the game itself. Let's just start at the beginning. Quick story, actually, because I want to keep myself off topic as I normally tend to do, but my uncle is actually the one who bought me Turok Dinosaur Hunter back in the day, and since the game was rated M for mature, my mom did this thing all the time where any mature rated game, she'd come in and make sure that I changed the settings to turn off things like the blood and the gore and the nudity or whatever. Pretty fair parenting thing to do for a kid who was pretty young at the time, but she actually made a mistake here. See, she trusted me, which terrible thing to do, and I had already gone into the settings and changed it, and just to make sure that she never saw blood, there was an option to change the blood to be green. So I did that. That whole time, pretty much a lot of my memory playing Turok Dinosaur Hunter is green blood. But this time, the blood's red. The blood is so red. Because now, I'm a big boy. Alright, so we're finally off to start the game, and what the heck was that? Alright, well, I guess we're just gonna keep moving forward here, and, Yo, are you serious? Okay, that sound effect is so cool. Like, no joke. This pickup sound is one of my all-time favorite video game noises ever, man. It's so unique and bizarre. It's absolutely nothing like I would imagine picking up one of these golden chip Dorito looking things would sound like. Can you imagine how good life would be if this played every time you picked up a chip? Well, we're right at the beginning of level 1 here, and oh, how do I get that pistol up there? I don't see any way up, so I guess I'll just keep moving forward over this little bridge here. I just need to make sure that I don't fall into the water and actually, you can fall into the water. Damn, the fact that you can swim and water isn't an insta-kill makes this better than like 90% of the games of this era instantly. There's nothing really over here, but if you go on the other side, there's this cave. What's in here? Guess we'll just make our way through it and see, and oh, no way, it's the pistol. That's so cool. Yeah, sure, it's not that big of a deal by today's standard, but having a first-person shooter set up genuinely fun and creative non-linear exploration that rewards the player with new weapons significantly earlier than normal to incentivize that exploration, that's awesome. This isn't just important to get weapons and stuff either. The entirety of Turok Dinosaur Hunter revolves around these moments of open exploration. By searching deeply, you'll stumble upon bonus stages, which might grant weapons, but also might give you the ability to gather more health and ammo than you'd normally find along the, well, normal way through the level. Now, sure, if you do miss these hidden secrets, then you'll still get the weapons eventually, but receiving them early is such a fantastic reward on top of just feeling clever. Some of them are really hidden too, like off of the sides of ledges, or behind vines, or just through suspicious looking walls. Exploration is the name of the game. Actually, it's Turok Dinosaur Hunter. Heck, sometimes finding hidden pathways can just be more golden Doritos to pick up. Speaking of which, these things are scattered everywhere. What are they for? Well, this is how you get extra lives. Checkpoints are mostly lenient, which is nice, but there are times where you will die a lot, especially on some of the platforming sections, because they're not always nice. To combat this, you can eat as many golden Doritos as possible, and when you eat 100, you'll get an extra life, and our character yells out extremely obvious facts.
I am Turok.
I am not. By keeping secrets hidden everywhere, you always feel incentivized to check out random nooks and crannies in between the combat encounters. This sense of exploration isn't just a neat trick or game design mechanic to reward the player with extra lives and ammo, yada yada, but it's an extremely critical part of the overall design, as each stage holds one of 8 pieces to a special item that's not required, but it's definitely a cool reward that we'll see later on. In fact, there's an interesting design philosophy hidden behind all of this, because while I'm appearing to paint exploration as an optional endeavor, it also really isn't. You very much have to look around, spot those little holes in the wall, and jump into all of that water that doesn't insta-kill you, because this is way better than most games. Specifically because in order to actually progress through Turok, you need to get 3 keys in order to open up the next level. You know, I gotta say though, I always hope that someone one day will look at me the same way Tal Set looks at these keys. Kiss it, you time-traveling Giga Chad. Show these keys why your nickname in college was Tal Sex. Cringe. Cringe, I want out of this, please, cringe. Searching through all of the levels is a ton of fun still, though, because there's no consistency on what you might find around each corner. Sometimes you'll find some extra ammo, you might find a secret stage, or you might just find some idiot who's making videos stabbing himself with a prop knife for views. This is the real core of the game design, and it exemplifies the fact that Turok owes much more of its inspiration to titles like Metroid and Zelda than Doom or Quake like it appears on the surface. Even the keys aren't quite as straightforward as you might expect. Here I am in level 2 and I finally find a level 3 key, and did I just get a level 4 key in level 2? So is this like non-linear or something? Because I haven't been to level 3 yet. Well, I guess I'll just keep looking around and seeing if I can find anything here. Is that a level 5 key? Alright, it's not an entirely non-linear experience. Turok often will make sure that you have 2 different levels that you can tackle at any given time, though. Not only is this a fun novelty, but it's also a bit of mercy. I'm still missing a key in this level and just can't seem to find it. I just don't know where to go, and I don't want to run through the whole level again. Okay, I guess I'll just go to the next stage and try and find everything there, and when I'm done, I'll come back. Yeah, let's do that. This small opportunity to break up the loop continually blocks so much of the potential frustration that can come from exploration-styled titles like this, when you just typically would have to slam your head against the wall repeatedly until your eyes just finally spot the damn secret you missed so many times because you've just been staring at the same level for the past couple of hours. With Turok, you actually get a chance to take a break, so to speak, while still making progress in the campaign. And just as the level progression is sort-of pseudo-non-linear, kind of, but not really, so too is the level design itself. That opening section I mentioned in the beginning about the pistol is a perfect example to the environmental structure, because that little segment basically is the level design. You'll make your way through narrow corridors and such, sure. In fact, you'll actually do that a lot. But between those segments, you'll often find these small hubs of sorts with branching paths that will take you down entirely different zones of the world. Some distractions are long and complex, while others might just be a loop that let you get some ammo or upgrades real quick. It's not always fancy, but there's a surprising ability that Turok has which prevents boredom and monotony despite the fact the game is incredibly tedious in theory. You just kind of walk around and shoot things in levels that are mostly the same palette except the last 1 or 2 stages. Normally these monotonous textures in a game like this would be how players get lost all over the place, and thankfully the remaster for this game has a map. I don't remember if the N64 version had a map. I know the PC version did if you accessed like special terminal commands, but I don't recall. But thank God for the map. There are definitely a few maze-like sections that can get you lost, mostly near the end, but it's mildly inconvenient at most, really. You know, 1 extra left here or maybe 1 double back there will usually get you right back on the correct path that you're hoping to go down. Wait, what the hell is happening here? I thought this was a game about dinosaurs. I want to shoot lizards. I want to shoot a T-Rex. I don't want to kill a car. Do you know the resale value on that thing? Oh, they're reproducing. Sup. This fight comes out of nowhere, and it's pretty funny and silly, which I'd say is thematically on brand for Turok to some degree, but this fight sucks. It's literally circle strafe and shoot, which, well, will prove to be the dominant strategy against basically every single boss in the entire game. Actually, it's basically the key to winning every encounter, ever, in Turok. Thankfully, since you'll just be moving and shooting, at least the movement feels exquisite. Or, as my thesaurus extension in Google Docs thinks I should say, the movement is delicious. Maybe that's why Turok looks at those keys like that. Seriously though, Talset doesn't really walk or run in this game. He frickin' flies. This brother soars his way across the world at an eagle's pace. The original N64 version of the game has some incredibly smooth mobility for its time, with a genuinely impressive game feel behind it considering the hardware and the age in which it came out. I often hear people talk about how this era had terrible movement in games, yet we had titles like Mario 64 and Turok within 6 months of the Nintendo 64's release. The remaster by Night Dive, though? I'm not trying to be dramatic when I say this, but it seriously feels like I'm playing a Turok Dinosaur Hunter skin of Doom 2016. It's not a perfect one-to-one comparison, mostly because the remaster came out a year before Doom 2016 did, and Doom does have a bit of better weight behind that movement, but Turok feels so good to control. It's so fast that you often have to remind yourself to slow down, actually, to look for secrets, because you'll just naturally fall into this cycle of doing drive-by shootings at 70 miles an hour with a plasma rifle. It's just so good. You'd think that moving this fast on land, that hitting water would be as bad as Sonic the Hedgehog, but it's really not. Not only do you get this smooth transition into a rather chill underwater track that's pretty good on its own, but the movement in the water is not bad. You move pretty quick still and keep access to certain weapons while underwater. Except turning. Turning sucks. Alright, look. Turok is like a cheetah in the water. He can just bolt it as fast as possible, but the second that man has a turn, oh, the whole thing falls apart. Holy crap, is this a giant mantis thing? Oh shoot! Oh, I gotta dodge the poison here and I gotta circle and shoot. Come on, alright, I know the strategy here. Circle, shoot, come on, circle, shoot. Oh dude, he's going ballistic! He's tearing down the walls to make the arena larger? That is so cool! He's no match for my relatively average aim though. Come on. Oh yeah, I got him. Oh, this is so good, Okay, that was way better than fighting a frickin' car. Can we get more of that, please? Like, I don't know, maybe get a little crazy, sprinkle in some, some aliens, maybe a cybernetic T-Rex or something. That would be cool. I gotta give it to the Turok enemy design. Granted, the levels that they exist in for the first 5 or so levels is pretty similar and could really do with some extra variety, sure. But the mobs in those levels are pretty great. The dinosaurs especially are a real treat. The humanoid enemies, sure, are typical varieties of increasing their clothing and armor as the game progresses, but man, it's the deaths. The death is the best part. Everything, seriously, everything dies in such a satisfying manner. Hello? Yes, I believe I just said something that I should really work on with my therapist. No, but seriously, the sound effects and animation for people dying and enemies dying they're so good. It's iconic. From the random enemy dying normally to the dudes gasping for breath as they bleed out. To dinosaurs screeching as they relive extinction. Everything in the sound department in general is great. The constant drum beats in the background really give this jungle vibe that sticks with you. And part of why it sticks with you is because more than half of the game is jungle. Even beyond the music, there's this constant string of background sounds that just enhances the atmosphere, to dinosaurs roaring and birds chirping, to monkeys, monkey sounding. What do monkeys do? Is it yelling? Howling, maybe? Screeching? I don't know. There is a serious lack of musical variety though, and while everything is genuinely great in the atmosphere department, hearing the same background songs, like the same 3 tracks for the whole game, can get really boring at times. Eventually the levels do expand a bit from your standard jungle to this mini ancient city of treetop exploration, which is probably the coolest area in the whole game. There's such an intense level of verticality here that Turok really gets to spread its platforming wings with, and thank God there isn't fall damage. The first real shakeup comes near the end, when we finally enter the Lost Land, where everything goes from green to brown. What a twist. Oh, what the heck are these guys? I was joking around about the whole aliens thing in the game. Come on now, what's going on here? What's all this spaceship tech? Holy crap, is that a mech? Oh, I gotta get out of here, I gotta go. Where's the exit? Hello? Where do I go? How do I get out of here? Come on, please let me out. Oh, finally, okay, I think this is the exit. You did it. You crazy son of a bitch, you did it. How am I supposed to fight this? It's so quick. Oh, and it breathes fire? Move those feet, Turok, quick, go. Shoot and run. We know how to do this. Come on, we've done this so many times. Shoot in a circle. Okay, must go faster. Oh, I can't believe we're doing this. Come on, we can do this. Just gotta shoot, strafe. Gotta do it like Grandma Zabraxi always said. Move and shoot. Joe always told me, come on, Zabraxi, move and shoot. So close. Yes! Oh, we did it, yes! Really? That was the best victory celebration you could come up with? Well, we can finally teleport out of here and move on to the next area and... Oh, what is this? A Chronoscepter piece? What the heck is that? Yeah, so the whole story of Turok is, well, actually never told to you, basically, in the game to any capacity. So what the heck is actually going on here? Our journey focuses around a warrior named Tal Set, who has been bestowed the title Turok as the eldest warrior of his tribe. The primary role of Turok is to protect the Earth from the Lost Land, a realm where time has no meaning and evil knows no bounds. A ruthless overlord known as the Campaigner has risen up and seeks to shred the fabric of space-time by wielding an ancient artifact known as the Chronoscepter, a staff that was shattered thousands of years ago as a way to prevent evil hands from wielding its power again. Your job is to gather the 8 pieces of the Chronoscepter and stop the Campaigner. It's pretty simple and pretty straightforward. I just hope you still have a copy of the manual, because none of this will ever be conveyed to you in-game at all. Even the whole existence of the Chronoscepter, there is a very solid chance you might never know of its existence at all until the final 10 minutes of the game, where you are basically forced to pick up the 8th piece as a bit of a nudge to make you realize that, hey, you've missed something incredibly important. Guess I'm replaying the entire game to find the other 7 pieces. Or I could just sit here stabbing myself because that sounds a little more fun. Finding all of the pieces actually isn't that tough, and by no means required for the final encounter. If you've been exploring basically at all, you've probably stumbled upon a few pieces. Some are definitely more tucked away than others, but overall, these aren't the type of collectible that you need to get a guide for or anything. So we're just about ready to go fight the Campaigner, and our arsenal consists of explosive arrows, assault rifles, a plasma gun, quad rocket launcher, a nuclear screen clearing super weapon, and even more. But now we have our secret weapon that we've built on our own. It's time we take out our Chrono Stick and go kill a guy whose name sounds like he's just trying to run for political office and is taking it way too seriously. What we have here is kind of more of the same with the other bosses, where you just kind of circle, strafe, and fire every gun in your arsenal until his health bar depletes. But this time, he jumps. Yo, dude, no way, this guy has knees. If you have the Chronoscepter, you can actually make this fight a joke by shooting him 3 times with it and the fight will end. Or, if you're like me, you'll miss a shot and be forced to still use a ton of ammo and fight him normally for a little. I meant it when I said I had average aim. Just keep moving and shooting and this campaign will come to an end. Well, just as soon as we get this fun little escape sequence. So, that's Turok Dinosaur Hunter, an N64 launch title that mixed gun and fun through the same 3D collectathon methods as Spyro. It's total nonsense through and through, and that's exactly why it's been looked at fondly ever since its release. The fantasy meets sci-fi setup is something that could easily be used to launch loads of sequels, and the gunplay was solid enough out of the gate that expansion of the arsenal would potentially be enough to carry new entries. Oh, and let's not forget about the wonderful cheat codes. Some of these you'll have unlocked through normal play, but others were posted in strategy guides back in the day. They range from all weapon unlocks, invincibility, to super low graphics mods, turning enemies tiny, and all sorts of other wacky stuff. My favorite part though is how some of them represent certain phrases, like how the big cheat that basically gives everything ever stands for "on the 8th day God created Turok," or how infinite lives cheat, something you can unlock through normal play, stands for "those that truly suck." Hey, that's me! There are so many more, like how every level warp gets progressively more and more insulting to the player. The fact that Turok just never takes itself seriously is so infectious. Everything is a goof and a laugh. It's just a true joy to play. It's a great first step into the franchise, and has a lot of room to grow in terms of mechanics, level design, music, boss design, and basically everything. I don't necessarily know if I would say this game is a masterclass at much, but the foundation is set, and Turok's future seems bright. But what if I wanted to play Turok on the go? Back in the day was an interesting time for handheld ports. Sometimes you'd get something incredible, and other releases would be just incredibly bare bones and broken down versions of the console counterpart that was just worse in every single capacity. Battle of the Bionosaurs is a bit of an interesting one because, wait. What the heck is that theme music? Oh. Alright. Yeah. It actually sounds kind of fun. Welcome to Turok Battle of the Bionosaurs, but this time not from Iguana Entertainment. Instead, this project was sourced out to a developer called Bit Managers, who very specifically seem to specialize in creating handheld versions of games based on comics. Well, considering this game franchise is based on a 1956 comic called Turok Son of Stone, and actually the character is technically even older than that, then this is funnily the perfect developer to do this project. Man, I always forget that Turok is older than my mom. I really should read those comics one day. That could be fun. Bit Managers isn't a company that I would say has had any significantly big hits outside probably the Turok series, but they had a sustainable and healthy life as a development studio. They made games from 1998 all the way into the early 2000s, almost exclusively for the Game Boy systems, which really goes to show just how successful the Game Boy itself was. Also, they made Inspector Gadget Racing, and that just deserves some mad respect. Alright, well anyway, let's get started with the first level and oh, damn! Do you hear that music? That is fun. We've only heard 2 tracks so far, but I actually think this OST is going to beat Dinosaur Hunters, quite honestly. Well, what we have here seems to be a pretty standard action platformer for the Game Boy era. Oh, can I make it to this little platform? Oh, I can! Nice! What a great little level design trick to show that in this game you can grab ledges. Well, let's keep moving forward and jump to this ledge and... oh, what a mistake! Alright, so yeah, this game definitely still plays by some of those old classic Game Boy rules. Like, right back at the beginning again, how are we supposed to climb this without getting shot? The animation is too slow, and my hitbox is thicker than me in real life. Oh, and this is really cool. All I have is a knife against these enemies that can sprint right into me. Sweet. Despite having a different subtitle from Dinosaur Hunter, Battle of the Bionosaurs is absolutely 100% basically just a Turok Dinosaur Hunter port to the Game Boy. The goal here is the same in trying to find the level keys to unlock the portals in a hub so you can just jump into the new stages along the way, and you might also have to find all of the hidden pieces of the Chronoscepter in order to stop the campaigner. Totally the same. This is normally where I'd stop playing because if it's a straight port, then what's the fun here, right? But, funny enough, the fact that we're going from a Doom-styled boomer shooter primarily focused on 3D exploration to what essentially boils down to a 2D action platformer, the gameplay style is sufficiently different, actually. Oh, and yes, this game does start off way too difficult. I blew like 8 lives in the first level until I kinda collected myself, put my mindset back into that 8-bit gameplay zen that anyone who's played these games from this era will know about, and after I did that, and just started to take it a little bit slow, the opposite of what you do in Dinosaur Hunter, I still died a crap ton, but I had a surprisingly fun time. A part of me wants to say that this is a hidden gem, because it can definitely be challenging at times, and unfairly so though, but it's also an incredibly satisfying experience to overcome these obstacles. And the music! This is some of the most fun Game Boy music I've ever heard. But just like anything, there is a balance to this. Level design mostly follows the same fundamentals of Dinosaur Hunter, with jungle, cave, ancient city, ruins, space station looking place, etc. Like, I've seen all of this before, and I know that this is what ports do and all, but I always wish that games around this time wouldn't have gone the same route of just trying to move the console title to the handheld. I do like the aesthetics of these levels though, I really do. They're built well, and how do I get past this wall? Like I should be able to get over it clearly, but what? Oh, backtracking through the entire level to see what I overlooked. I missed you, old friend. You bitch. The backtracking is pretty intense here, overall. For example, the first 3 Chronoceptor pieces can't actually be obtained until you're in level 4 and finally get the grenade launcher. Do you know just how much time I spent trying to get these? Why do it this way? One of the reasons it works so well in Dinosaur Hunter is because the discovery was tied directly to your own ingenuity and attentiveness rather than item unlocks. I really hope something like Seeds of Evil doesn't lock its secrets behind unlocks and having to backtrack like this, because that would be so annoying. For anyone who doesn't know, this is what we call in the business foreshadowing. Some of these jumps later on start to just get outright stupid. As is tradition for 8-bit titles and needing to completely ruin certain elements of their game design, we start to get the famous leaps of faith becoming required at certain points. Oh, and my personal favorite, jumps that are so precise, you actually have to do that stupid thing where you nudge yourself to the ledge just a little bit further, and a little bit further, and a little bit further to discover exactly which pixel is the last part of your hitbox to get the more distance you need to just make the jump. Like, these elements are what people tend to look back on fondly, but, like, think about what you're actually needing to do here. This is so dumb. It's really stupid. I'm so glad that it's mostly gone nowadays. But you know what though? I want to complain so much more about needing to constantly explore and go back through these levels, because you have to repeat areas so many times to make progress. Everything is so hidden, and the level layout can get so maze-like that this feels like less of a game of discovery and more of a brutal exercise in training your eyes to notice any minute change in pattern recognition. But the reason I can't just go off on a tangent about this like I might normally do is completely, 100% because the music is just so fun. Dinosaur Hunter had a few tracks that were great and atmospheric, but overall, the sound effects of items and enemies was the key winner, with the music itself being pretty okay, you know? Battle of the Bionosaurs is genuinely one of the most fun 8-bit soundtracks I think I've ever heard. It's no Journey to Silius or Blaster Master or Batman NES, but I think it's up there with soundtracks like Street Fighter 2010. Alberto Jose Gonzalez did such an amazing job here, and the fact that I've never heard his name is the exact reason I'm saying it here now for everyone. He apparently had zero formal music training and wore a ton of hats as a designer, a programmer, a graphics artist, and composer when he helped co-found Bit Managers. You get to just walk around these levels, just head bop into the music, walk into a door, and oh, come on! Oh, that is some bullshit out of 10 if I ever saw one. These cheap hits happen all the time, and combine that with the incredible precision needed at the end of the game, and pushing through to the end starts to become far more of a frustration than an accomplishment. Our final stage here, though, is similar to that of the end of Dinosaur Hunter, with the future tech and more complex level layouts, and oh yeah, the bosses! I forgot to talk about the bosses. They're okay. This brings us finally to the Campaigner, who, similar to Dinosaur Hunter, you can either fight like normal, or if you have the fully reconstructed Chronoceptor, he will die in only 2 hits now instead of 3 like the N64 title. He's such a boring boss though too, he doesn't even do anything. You kill him, you run away from the explosions, and that's it. That's Battle of the Bionosaurs, ladies and gentlemen. I think both of these games are the exact examples of perfect starting points. Turok Dinosaur Hunter and Battle of the Bionosaurs have their own issues and their moments of mediocrity, but I gotta be honest and say that they're pretty dang satisfying games to play. The 2D platforming and tough enemy encounters on the Game Boy became a disciplined experience that grows ever more satisfying as you exploit not only the weaknesses of the enemies, but of the game itself. The intense speed and action of those open arenas were never once dull in the entire experience of something like Dinosaur Hunter. This is a foundation that is perfectly built. It is a basis, providing stability, but without restriction, as the design ideas of this whole platformer, collectathon, shooter hybrid are wild in the possibilities, as all of these subgenres can be borrowed from and innovated upon. Iguana Entertainment and Acclaim hit on something very special here, and from what I've heard, the sequel is better in basically every way. Like, I've played its multiplayer, but I've never played the single player all the way through, and in fact, this is as far as I've ever made it in terms of the single player campaigns for Turok, so I'm excited to go through all of them. So next, we're going through Turok 2. I'll see you then. Bye-bye!